94 years old. Sitting on more cash than the GDP of most countries. And Warren Buffett, the man who has seen every crash since 1957, is doing something he almost never does. He's warning you. Directly. Urgently. Not about a stock. Not about a sector. About the entire mood of this market. And if you're trading in Nifty, in Bank Nifty options, in FNO every single expiry, this episode might be the most important 10 minutes you spend this year. Write 10-minute YouTube only script of why Warren Buffett is terrified of this market, and you should be too. And also generate YouTube description and tags generate here only. Synthesized value investing wisdom with Indian market dynamics and practical strategies. Synthesized value investing wisdom with Indian market dynamics and practical strategies. YouTube script. Why Warren Buffett is terrified of this market, and you should be too. Runtime, 10 minutes. Format, AI voiceover plus visual simulation. Cold open midnight to 0:30. Visual, Buffett's face, slow zoom, dramatic pause before he speaks. 94 years old. Sitting on more cash than the GDP of most countries. And Warren Buffett, the man who has seen every crash since 1957, is doing something he almost never does. He's warning you. Directly. Urgently. Not about a stock. Not about a sector. About the entire mood of this market. And if you're trading in Nifty, in Bank Nifty options, in FNO every single expiry, this episode might be the most important 10 minutes you spend this year. Title card: Why Buffett is Terrified and You Should Be Too. Section 1. The cash pile that's screaming 0:30 to 2 o'clock. Let's start with a number that should stop you cold. Berkshire Hathaway is sitting on well over $300 billion in cash and short-term treasuries. That's not a typo. That's more cash than most nations hold in reserve. Now here's the thing people get wrong. They think Buffett is just waiting for a good deal. That's the polite explanation. The real explanation? Buffett doesn't see value anywhere. And when the greatest value investor alive can't find a single business worth deploying capital into at scale, that's not caution. That's a warning siren. Think about it in rupee terms. Imagine you had 10 lakhs ready to invest, and after scanning the entire Nifty 500, you couldn't find one company trading at a price that made sense. Every single one overvalued. That's effectively where Buffett stands, except his 10 lakhs has 13 zeros. At this year's Berkshire annual meeting, Greg Abel's first as CEO, with Buffett now chairman, the room got a moment nobody expected. Buffett didn't just talk fundamentals. He talked about gambling. He described what's happening in markets today as a church that built a casino right next door and everyone quietly wandered over to the casino, while pretending they're still sitting in the pews of long-term investing. What did he mean? He was talking about zero-day options. One-day expiry contracts. The explosion of prediction markets where people bet on outcomes the same way they bet on a cricket match. He was talking about a market where holding periods aren't measured in years anymore, they're measured in hours. And here's why this hits different for Indian investors specifically. This isn't a Wall Street-only problem. Look at India's own FNO volumes. Weekly Nifty and Bank Nifty options expiry days have turned into some of the most heavily traded events on earth, with millions of retail traders, many with zero background in options pricing, punting on which direction the index moves in the next 6 hours. SEBI's own data has shown that the vast majority of individual FNO traders in India lose money. Not most years. Consistently year after year. Buffett isn't talking about America. He's accidentally describing your trading app. Something strange happened during this year's shareholder Q&A that deserves its own mention. During the meeting, an AI-generated version of Buffett's own voice and likeness was used as part of a live demonstration showing, in real time, how convincingly a deepfake could answer questions. As him. Buffett himself pointed at it and essentially said, "This is exactly the kind of tool that will be used to scam people out of their money in the years ahead." Fake videos of trusted figures telling you to invest in this coin, this stock, this scheme. Why does this matter in the context of market fear? Because it's the same root cause. Speculation, hype, and manipulation move faster than truth now. Whether it's a deepfake Buffett urging you to buy something, or a Telegram group promising guaranteed returns on the next Nifty expiry, the pattern is identical. Something artificial is generating conviction in your gut faster than your brain can verify it. Let's get precise about what Buffett is diagnosing, because this is the part most YouTube videos gloss over. He's not saying, "The market will crash tomorrow." He's said for decades that he can't predict short-term moves, nobody can, and anyone claiming otherwise is selling something. What he is saying is this: when a huge portion of market activity is driven by short-term directional bets rather than long-term business ownership, prices stop reflecting value. They start reflecting mood. And mood-driven markets are inherently unstable, because mood can flip in a single news cycle. Apply this lens to India right now. Record retail participation in the markets, much of it channeled through SIPs, which is genuinely healthy. But alongside that, record volumes in weekly options, where the underlying behavior isn't investing at all. It's a lottery ticket with extra steps. Buffett's own portfolio strategy is the opposite of this in every way. Berkshire has owned Coca-Cola since 1988. American Express since the 1990s. These aren't trades. These are multi-decade marriages to businesses he understands. The gap between how Buffett invests and how much of the market currently behaves has arguably never been wider. That gap is what he's afraid of. So what do you actually do with this, sitting in India, watching Nifty and Sensex headlines every day? First, separate your investing money from your speculation money, if you speculate at all. Buffett isn't saying, never take risk. He built his entire fortune on calculated risk. He's saying don't confuse a casino bet with a long-term compounding decision, and don't let one bleed into the other. Second, cash is not a wasted asset. In India, we're often conditioned to feel guilty about idle money. It should be working, it should be invested. Buffett's multi-hundred-billion-dollar cash pile says otherwise. Sometimes the most disciplined move is to hold and wait for genuine value, rather than force capital into an overheated market because FOMO is screaming at you. Third, your SIP is still your best friend. Nothing in Buffett's warning is an argument against systematic, long-term investing in good businesses or index funds. If anything, it's a reinforcement. The steady, boring, unglamorous SIP investor is doing exactly what Buffett has always preached, buying good value over time, ignoring the noise. Fourth, treat every guaranteed profit claim, human or AI generated, with total suspicion. If a deepfake could convincingly impersonate the most trusted investor alive at his own shareholder meeting, imagine what's already circulating on your WhatsApp and Instagram. Here's the uncomfortable truth in all of this. Buffett isn't scared for himself. Berkshire is built to survive any storm. That's the entire point of the cash pile. He's scared for the ordinary investor who mistakes a casino for a church, who thinks this week's option premium is the same thing as building wealth. Greg Abel now runs the day-to-day of Berkshire. But the philosophy Buffett is handing down, patience over adrenaline, value over vibes, that doesn't retire with him. The question isn't whether the market is in a gambling mood right now. The evidence says it clearly is. The real question is, which side of that church are you standing on? If this made you rethink even one trade you were about to make, that's the whole point of this channel. Subscribe to Master Investor Mindsetter for more Buffett and Munger wisdom, decoded specifically for Indian investors. Drop a comment. Are you Team SIP or Team FNO? Let's talk about it below. See you in the next one.